Okay, now this is a very strange looking tank.
Yeah, I know that you're not very judgmental about tanks. You know, you like to keep an open mind about tanks that come in all sorts of shapes and sizes, but there's something just fundamentally wrong about this one.
I can't say I'm a big fan of the whirly-twirly sky tanks.
I mean, yeah, you got a small little piddly pop gun at the front, and, well, in fairness, the seating position doesn't seem uncomfortable, although I suspect it might be a bit drafty.
Yeah, but a bit on the windy side. The armor is not very thick.
I would go with non-existent. I mean, so might stop maybe a pea shooter.
I think my armor might be thicker.
I don't know. Outside of, I don't know why, I hear Wagner in the back of my head as I'm looking at this, but outside of that, I think we probably need to go find something a bit more tank-like.
Let's go find some tanks.
Yeah.
Yeah. This isn't a tank either.
No, it isn't, but unlike the other thing, it's at least it got tracks and armor and a gun. It's a big gun, much bigger gun.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, this was an attempt to try to increase the size of British artillery capability. So the standard British light gun was 105. This thing, I mean, you can imagine how heavy just that one projectile is. I mean, if you wanted to try it out, incredibly heavy for its... You'll be working out.
Not so bad.
No, all right. Well, suffice to say, the 105 is heavy enough as it is. And you're making me feel bad now. And you go up to a 155, which is this little guy, and there is absolutely no way in God's green earth I want to see her do this. And the idea was that these things are starting to get too heavy to manhandle or woman handle, I guess. And how do you make an assisted system to get a decent amount of 155 into the air downrange without too much trouble? And that was before they figured out there were actually other ways of dealing with the problem. And this is the SP-70, if I recall the name of the thing. And this was not one of England's great successes.
But it was some important lessons learned.
Yes, so one of the nice things about testing is if you screw up, which you screwed up on this one, you can learn a few things. But on the other hand, there are actually some neat features about this as well. I mean, look what we got here. Lovely. Anti-slip coating. Mm-hmm. Stops you from falling off when it's wet.
Safety first.
Snowy, safety first. Occupational health and safety, even on the battlefield. Although they have to wear the PT belts. And also, it also adds a sort of a camouflage texture as well, because it's not smooth and shiny. But, I mean, you look at it, you start seeing things that are kind of familiar. I mean, look at the design of the headlights or the indicators or the wing mirrors or the way the driver's position is off and on. Where have you seen this before?
This reminds you of something that starts with L and ends with Eppard.
It does. It's basically a leopard chassis. I mean, this is a multinational thing. So you got the British, Germans, and the Italians all working together. When was the last time the British and Germans and Italians ever worked together at anything? Mm. I mean, so they're on different sides of both wars, both world wars. I guess you could say maybe in the European Union, or was that just the British were trying to sabotage it from the inside because they couldn't do it from the outside?
Well, I guess you could say that was the first time for everything.
Yeah. So, yeah, they decided, let's pick the finest of, well, it could be a lot worse. So they decided to pick German automotive technology, Italian firearms technology, and overall British design, which I guess could be a lot worse, because you could have British automotive technology, German overall design, and, well, I guess the Italians could have worked okay with the design or the German firearms. Right. But suffice to say, you are really starting to make me feel bad with that now.
That's perfect.
If she's going to take it home now, she's going to put it in a little crib. You're going to give it a name?
This is my son.
Yeah.
I don't want you speaking like that.
That's what happened after you proposed to that T30, isn't it?
Here comes the stork has delivered something.
Let's go around the side and we'll have a look at some of the design failings of this particular vehicle, and then how they ended up fixing it.
There's some interesting ideas, but we'll take a look at what went wrong.
So this is probably the single point of failure for the SP-70. And, well, obviously this is an SPG. Mm-hmm. And you're standing behind the lines. You never know where your target is going to come up. You can get a call for fire request from a vehicle over there, call for fire request for a vehicle over there. You usually have a turret, right? Which means that you should be able to fire from any particular configuration. Do you see a problem with this big thing sticking out over the side.
Right, like how are you going to get your ammo in or ammo loaded if you can't extend the arm the whole way over the back of the vehicle?
So you can't shoot over the front, you can't shoot over the back. You got to be angled off on one side in order to load the ammo.
So you got to give your enemy a broadside just to start to be effective.
Right. So your typical SPG from the M109, you load the ammo from the back. It's a big, huge open space, and it's a big cavern. You load the ammo in, and all is well. You can shoot it from any particular direction. But because this is based off of a bird, as you put it, the engine's in the back.
Right.
So you can't do that. So you got to load it out up over the side, and because it's way up high, you got to have this mechanism for getting the big heavy rounds into the vehicle, and that's what this is for. It's nice and low, so you can get your big heavy rounds, put it in, and then somehow I'm not even sure what way this contraption works.
Probably
actually.
sorcery.
How would this actually fold? Because it's got to go that way. It's almost like it's going to have to sort of origami itself in. I've been told there are 186 parts to this particular vehicle, this particular component, and all of them are liable to break.
Delightful.
So that was one problem. That's only one of them. There's another chute over there for the propellant charges. So in amongst, you can only fire within a certain angle. You got things that can break in order to make it work. This was not the best idea, and I am confused as to why they have smoke grenade launchers on the back of the turret. I mean, you play World of Tanks, you get the SPG is playing last-ditch defense, I guess, and little scout tank is coming along, and the way some SPG drivers try to drown themselves or self-splash or whatever. I don't do that. I try to shotgun the bugger.
Yeah, these things would in theory be so far behind the lines that it's not like you need to deploy smoke in order to retreat.
Yeah.
Say the vehicle's turned all the way around.
There's not going to be a tank coming up to you going, ha, and you're not going to outrun it anyway.
Nothing should ever be that close.
Yeah, so and another interesting design. I think there's a lot of, we can do it, so we should.
Sometimes I guess the devil is in the details, but you don't really see what goes wrong until the application of what you've tried to design. Like there's a lot of really interesting ideas kind of independently, but it all comes together and doesn't go quite right.
In this case, I think we have a case in point, but the British did fix it.
That's right. Behold.
The AS-90. Dun, dun, dun. Well, it's not a great big stonking gun, it has to be
That's an
said.
impressive creature.
Yeah, that could almost make your T-30 jealous.
Hey.
What happened to your son?
What's that?
Have you abandoned him?
That's right. No, this is here.
No, your son.
My son. My child, he's in care.
All right, well, let's have a quick look at the AS-90 and how they fixed some... Well, you say fixed, it's almost like they're reinventing the wheel. Other people have done it before, but it's not like this.
So it goes kind of back to earlier successful flight design. Brushy.
Keep the dirt, as you're traversing around, you're brushing your tank.
So I think the clear difference between what was successful and what was a failure, in this one we'd have to go back to see the main differences are in the rear of the vehicle.
Yes.
Right.
Let us go to the rear.
So you can already see the main difference is there isn't an entire engine.
No, look at that, a big huge hole. Let's hop in and have a quick look inside the AS-90.
Spacious.
It is, and this is, I have to say, something that's a little outside of my area of expertise because it isn't a tank, and you just shoot at things that you can't see. Although I guess there should be a direct vision optic, I would have thought, somewhere.
Maybe here. Don't know what that is.
Oh, that looks like you knocked the direct vision optic down from wherever it was. You're inside this thing, 10 seconds, you need to break it already.
Yep.
But so the trick with this, it was supposed to get a 3-round time on target. So Americans, we like to cheat. We're very great fans of artillery. I mean, most people will assault a position with hand grenades and bayonets, whatever. No, we just call it out on the radio, and about 3 minutes later, the enemy position is eliminated.
Oh dear.
It's much easier. But statistically, you've seen the movies. Artillery comes in, what happens?
Everything else gets wrecked.
Yeah, somebody yells, you hear the and what happens next?
Explosions.
Somebody is going to yell, incoming! Yeah. It always happens. And then they start running and they're kind of dodging through the explosions. And then finally they dive into the trench or whatever. So generally speaking, after about 30 seconds, anybody that was exposed is no longer exposed. Implication being, you got to do your killing in the first 30 seconds or so. So to do that, you end up with what's called a time on target or a burst on target. And you try to get as many rounds as possible to land in that first 30 seconds, which is what this thing is. So you got one in the tube, one on the ready tray, and then one projectile here, and 3 rounds in 10 seconds. That's a lot of HE coming down very quickly. You're having a bad day.
I can't imagine you'd need a whole lot more.
Psychological effect of being under artillery fire. I mean, people again, World of Tanks SPG player. Oh, they keep cheating. They keep shooting at us, and we can't do. Artillery was the one concept that really scared the bejesus out of me in tank school because there is nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
All you can do is just close the hatch and hope for the best.
Yeah, the concussive force if you're not in the tank. The concussive force from 155 would be tremendous.
It is. So you got the psychological effect, you've got the concussion effect, and then of course you have all the little hot pieces of metal that go flying around.
That's right.
But if you look the German howitzer, the Panzerhaubitze 2000, they have a system that one gun can do, I think, up to a 5-round time on target, that all 5 rounds from the one gun will impact at the same time.
Wow.
So then you do that with a battery of 5 guns. So you're looking at 25 rounds, all landing at the same time. You got no warning. Okay, you got the
Yell for a second.
Yeah, and you yell incoming, and that's it. You're doomed. So that's what this thing is all about. But my God, look at the amount of space you have in here. I mean, you set up parties, put up disco lights, barbecues, beers. British Army, you probably allow beer.
I bet you could fit a hammock.
Oh, easily. Easily. You probably put up a double hammock. I wonder if you can do that. Is there such a thing as a double hammock?
We could find out.
Yeah, let's just put one in. Go to Home Depot, see what you got by way. Doubles have. You got singles, twins, doubles, king size hammock, Cal King hammock.
Something outside of the hammock fittings that's really, really clear is, again, you mentioned how much ammo can you fit as much as possible, right? So behind us here, on the ground down there, it looks like you have some spaces to fit some standing up.
Yep, those will probably be projectiles, standing vertically. Plenty of powder charges. Up here as well. Obviously, the ammunition being heavier stuff, that's going to be a bit lower down. But yeah, they put it everywhere. I like the comfortable little bench seats. The little fold-down bench seats there.
That's right.
Sort of, they're thinking about you got a nice seat there. Position of power.
That's right. There's a lot of space to be able to move around if you need to, as well as I would imagine to deliver how heavy these projectiles would be.
You got
to have a little bit of space to be able to.
So this would actually swing out of the way, give you a little bit more room.
Yeah.
But I think it's like a 7-man gun crew will be in here all told. So you got 1, 2, 3. I'm counting seats. 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah.
Forgive my ignorance, but what do you need 7 folks for to deliver 3 rounds in 10 seconds?
Because everybody else is out back feeding rounds through the big hatch for the next round, the next set of 3 rounds. Well, granted, you got that, or you got the shooting scoot. So you fire your rounds, and then you get out of there before the triangulation comes back as the way you came from.
Good old-fashioned shoot and scoot.
So I guess some of that time is also spent in fusing and so on. Again, I'm not a red leg, gun bunny, whatever you want to call them, drop short. Why do you think they're called drop shorts?
Do I want to know?
Because stereotypically, when you call in fire, if a round goes short, it'll land on you and not the enemy.
Oof.
Yeah, but red legs got the old trousers they had, and gun bunnies just because that's what they are.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And any 13s out there, it's all good-natured ribbing. I'm sure they say the same about us tankers. There are all sorts of names for tankers.
So it's just interesting to see in design how clear the difference is, and then which one has more space, better ease of use, and eventually better effectiveness.
Yeah, one was put into production, and this one was it. And also, of course, because we're in it, and I think it's the first time we've been in an SPG, you just see the difference in philosophy when we were talking about the Leopard, how every single inch of space was used, and it was very, very tight and cramped. And you see the amount of room you have just to work. But again, you're behind the line, so you got a bit of room. And although they do have the smoke grenade launchers out front again, which again confuses the hell out of me, but I guess it doesn't cost very much to put it in place. Why not? You never know when you might need one.
Never know when you're going to need some extra beer storage.
You could put them in there. Or wine racks. I mean, these things make great wine bottle racks.
I'll take your word for it.
I know these things. You pick these things up after a few years in the army, I'm afraid. All sorts of things. So anyway, that is an SPG for you. So let's see when do you think we might go next?
There's a lot to see here. Yeah, let's go find.
There is a lot to see here. There's more to see here than we're going to cover on this particular trip. So we'll see what happens.
All right, we'll see what else we can get.